Yo, what's up? We're back with another video. Sorry I was behind. I had schoolwork and stuff, but we are here with a special guest. What's up, guys? And today we're going to be doing a draft guide for each, for the skill positions. We're going to be doing 4 players for each skill position. And yeah, we're going to break down the pros and cons, see how that can translate to the NFL. All right, so let's get into it with the top 4 quarterbacks. Number 1, we're going to Cam Ward. He's a perfect middle-of-the-field passer who can escape sacks and a big play machine. But he holds the ball way too long, and he's careless and hasn't played anyone good yet. I think of him as like a Kyler Murray, like a little kid, hard to catch. He's so hard to tackle.
Oh, the second quarterback in this class is Shedeur Sanders. His pros are he has a great arm talent. He's good on short and medium throws, has strong accuracy. He can throw on the run pretty well. He's kind of a mobile QB. He has an IQ for the game, mostly coming from his dad, and he's a leader on and off the field. Cons, he's working on his deep ball accuracy. He holds the ball way too long, takes a lot of unnecessary sacks he doesn't need, waits in the pocket too long, wants to take the big plays too much. His comparison is Joe Burrow, kind of like sits in the pocket, always wants to look downfield, moves onto the ball a little too long, but also has a good arm.
All right, now we got Jackson Dart. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks, Ole Miss. He's a top player who demonstrates accuracy through the field. He can win the big games. Obviously, he beat the Jane Daniels LSU team, Georgia this year, and he beat Penn State last year. But his quarterback play might be not translate well to the NFL and a heavy pass offense team. He can't always go for the big play. Played on pass heavy offense, like I said. His comparison to Baker Mayfield. Similar size to him, a little stocky. But yeah, Jackson Dart, he could be pretty high in the draft this year, honestly, with this quarterback class.
The fourth quarterback in this draft, I believe, is Quinn Ewers. Kind of controversial, but I believe he's the fourth. His pros, he has good arm talent and strong arm strength. He is great in the short and medium throws. He has good accuracy. He has a good game IQ. Doesn't take a lot of bad sacks. He takes what is given. He takes the check down. He rarely forces throws. He works well in RPOs. He can throw on the run, and he has the big game experience. I know he loses some of them, but he has won a majority of them. He has some cons, too. He has lazy footwork. He doesn't have great pocket awareness. He's not a very mobile QB. He gets fooled at pre-snap coverage shells, and he has a lot of injuries. His comparison is Aaron Rodgers. It's mostly based off the arm, the RPO, and not being able to run. All right, now we're done with the quarterbacks, and now we're on to the running backs. So obviously, the first running back in this class is Jeanty. His pros, good size and build. He reads gaps well. He's good at breaking tackles. He has a burst ability and has good acceleration, and he's good at making cuts. His cons, his pad level is way too high at sometimes. He runs away from tackles instead of breaking the tackles. He breaks his paths to avoid contact instead of bouncing the hits, and his pass blocking needs some work. His comparison is LaDainian Tomlinson.
Number 2, we got Marion Hampton out of UNC. He's not scared to play through heavy contact. He likes to use his trucking ability, and if you try to tackle him, he's taking that an extra 3 to 4 yards. He is an amazing at trucking, but he lacks shift and creativity through his first steps. That's like juke moves and that kind of stuff. He also runs into defenders, which could be a problem. Not showing creativity. He wants to take the hits, so he's not scared though, which is also pretty good. Comparison is J.K. Dobbins, 2 pretty big-sized running backs who rely heavily on their strength and athleticism to break tackles, and it works, obviously.
Third best running back in this class is Caleb Johnson from Iowa. His pros are he's a physical and tough running back for his size. He's good at knowing the yardage needed and can get tough carries and get for yards. He can fight through smaller defenders, and he reads gaps well. His cons are he's not a good first contact pass blocker. He needs to do a lot of work in the pass blocking game, especially in the NFL, and he needs to work on explosiveness earlier in his runs, and his comparison is Zach Charbonnet.
Number 4, we got Cam Scottible out of Arizona State. He's a great tackle machine and can be played in the pass game. He won't be scared to yell at the teammates, which is something we need, like CeeDee Lamb, as these coaches on this team are quiet and let the players do their thing, and that hasn't worked going 7-10. Problem is he has no stellar burst. Maybe the defenders catching up to him. He was doing very good against that Texas defense. But you saw him run. Defenders were easily catching up to him. He needs to get that heavy speed. I think of Najee Harris when I think of Cam Scatterby. Obviously, like a heavier back, and he could also receive. I would say more of like Alabama Najee Harris.
All right, done with the running backs. Now on to receivers. The best receiver in this class is Tedera McMillan out of Arizona. He has a very good size at 6'5". He has good footwork, and he's a natural route runner. He's a good yards after the catch guy. He wins at the line of scrimmage. He makes a lot of contested catches, and he's a mismatch playmaker. His cons are he needs more urgency at the line of scrimmage. He'll wait to make his move and fight off the blocks, fight off the press. He doesn't sell his routes consistently. He doesn't break the press very fast for physical corners. So his comparison is Nico Collins.
All right, number 2, I'm taking Emeka Egbuka over Luther Burden. I'll take, he can run any route in the book and an amazing blocker. His problem is he's limited experience playing outside versus man, and he has tons of ankle concerns. I see so much Brandon Ayuk in his game, it's not even funny. He knows every route, like I said, and is a great blocker. Exactly the same frame at 6'1". He's going to be the next Brandon Ayuk, and I'm not scared to say that.
All right, third best receiver in this class is Luther Burden III out of Missouri. He's a dynamic playmaker and makes big plays with the ball in his hands. He's very speedy, he is a punt returner, and he's a threat all around the field. His cons are he gets pushed around and blocking. He's not a very big person. He doesn't block very well. He doesn't meet the ball very much. He doesn't attack. He doesn't have great ball skills. He doesn't have much experience playing outside receiver, and his route running technique needs some work. His comparison is Jamar Chase. He's a smaller receiver, makes big plays, lines up everywhere. I see Jamar Chase in him.
All right, we got Trey Harris, number 4, last but not least. He's very physical against the press, and he's really lengthy. He's a great ball. He has great ball skills, deep ball threat, even on double teams. Cons of Trey Harris are that he's a very stiff route runner and not much of a speedster. That stiff route running and like slow ability makes defenders catch up to him and makes him have to make some tough catches that he shouldn't be able to make. My comparison is Cortland Sutton, both pretty tall, lengthy receivers who just play similar. All right, now we got the big boys, the tight ends. And number 1, pretty obvious, my guy Tyler Warren. He's solid hands, he's very athletic, and a great deal at 6'6", 260. He's similar to Trey Harris in the con that he lacks separation and needs to work, but he needs to work on his blocking. I see a ton of George Kittle in his game, how he's physical to grab the ball, but he just needs to work on that blocking ability, and he could be the perfect tight end in the NFL.
Yeah, just to emphasize, Tyler Warren, great hands. He makes a lot of contested catches. He's easily the best tight end in the class.
Like that Boise State catch he made.
Yep. And the second tight end is Colston Loveland. His pros, good size, very athletic, good post-catch speed, and has good acceleration. He has a good catch radius. He attacks the football, good ball skills, and he has good vertical speed. His cons, he has a drop issue. He struggled with lots of drops in 2023, and he needs to work on his pad level during blocking. His comparison is Tucker Kraft.
Art.
Now, the third tight end in this class is Gunnar Helm out of Texas. His pros, good build and size at 6'5". He's a good route runner. He finds the weak spots well. He's not the greatest athlete, but he's an above-average athlete. He has good acceleration, good post-catch burst and speed. He has an insane catch radius. Somehow he has great tracking abilities. He catches a lot of contested catches, incredible focus, and he rarely has any drops. His cons are he doesn't have speed on second-level defenders. He needs development on blocking on his outside zones. Although he can get up the field and put a block on a second-level defender, just needs to block on the interior. He's playing through contact more and blocking, and his run blocking techniques need improvement. His comparison is Dalton Schultz.
I do think that Gunnar Helm has the whole package. I mean, like the view that he's just good at everything, honestly. Yeah. I think he has everything right. He just needs to work on a couple of things, like Like you said, the speed he needs to work on and the block.
Yep.
All right. Sorry. Number 4, we got Harold Fannin Jr. This guy's one of the best college football tight ends of all time. He's literally a receiver at tight end. If your team didn't have any receivers, they're all injured, you could put him at receiver and he'd be just fine. He has no cons besides the fact that he hasn't played any good teams in the NFL, in college, my bad. And that's a problem in the NFL because the NFL is basically all University of Georgia, just every single position, Georgia players. I think of him as like a Kyle Pitts, very tall for name. He's like they're both like receivers, playing tight end, and yeah, he can fill that role, and he can block too. He can do anything. Kyle Pitts, Harold Fannin, same person.
All right, done with the tight ends, done with offense. Now we're on to the linebackers. So the best linebacker in this class is Jalen Walker. He has good size and athleticism. He's very versatile and physical. He can play edge and linebacker. He matches up well against running backs and tight ends. He holds strong against the offensive line and can break a block and hold a base to make a tackle. He wraps up very well. His cons are he has a lack of experience playing football. He's new to off-ball backer. He overplays RPOs a lot and is late on making decisions. He has bad mismatches and gets stuck on blocks sometimes because of his late decisions. But overall, I think Walker is the best in this class. He has crazy speed for a backer. He forces quarterbacks out of the pocket. He makes a lot of tackles outside of the pocket. He makes lots of TFLs. He's just a very physical linebacker who can catch it anywhere. And he's compared to Anthony Barr just because how fast can he get downhill? How can he close a run gap? How can he disrupt the play? So, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like the Anthony Barr comparison just because of the fact that, like, out of college and like in the NFL, Anthony Barr was not one of those guys who was known for their sacks, but more of their ability to make like the big tackles. That's exactly what you're getting out of Jalen Walker. So and they can also blitz, right? Like Barr could do that, Walker could do that, but that's not their specialty. So yeah, I like that Anthony Barr comparison. Now number 2, we got Jahad Campbell out of Bama. He is insane because he doesn't miss many tackles, and he's elusive with speed. He can move. Problem is though is that she relies more heavily on the athleticism than the technique on blitz. Like what I mean is like footwork. He doesn't really rely on that. More on like the ability to like push someone off of him, get off the block, and that can be a problem because you need that creativity. My comparison is Nolan Smith, same build, but like Nolan Smith out of Georgia had the same kind of problem. How can you show that footwork? How can you get off tackles? How can you get off like the tackle that you're going against? My bad.
Yeah. Okay, so the next backer, the third linebacker in this class, is Danny Stutzman out of Oklahoma. He has a good size for an NFL linebacker. He has solid speed and is good at changing direction. He has good coverage in zone, especially Tampa too. He's a good blitzer. He can defeat blocks pretty well and closes run gaps most of the time. Gaps. His cons are he has bad judgment on running plays. He does choose the wrong run gap sometimes. He opens up second level running sometimes. He did that a lot in the Texas game. And his pad level is inconsistent. His comparison is Logan Wilson.
Yep. And then finally, number 4, Chris Paul out of Ole Miss. He is crazy because I personally believe, no bias, he's a better tackler than Jalen Walker. I remember I watched him play at Ole Miss, like as his junior year. He was never. I saw number 11 on every single play. When whoever had the ball, I saw 11 right next to him. He makes every tackle, and he can stop the run. Problem is undersized at 6'1" versus position as a outside linebacker. Tons of injury history, and he lacks that twitch for a defensive end. Like obviously they put him on a linebacker because of that size, but they also want to put him at the end. He needs more twitch at that position. That he compares to Bobby Wagner because of the size, but also the ability to make the tackles. All right, now we're on to corner, and obviously this is a no-brainer. Number 1, Travis Hunter. He's got all the swag. He doesn't allow the ball to ever be thrown his way. and you can tell any route because of his experience at wide receiver. He's a cheat code. It's like you're almost going against yourself. Um, Problem is he's slightly skinny and can't make every tackle against bigger wide receivers. I can't. Everyone's looking at that one game he had against Stanford where he got cooked by Eric. I don't know how to say his last name, but comparison to Sauce Gardner, the ball never goes his way. He doesn't get any picks, and that's the reason for it. It doesn't go his way. All right, number 2, we got Will Johnson out of Michigan. Probably going to be a top 5-10 pick. Exceptional ball skill and has rare athletic ability for his frame. His frame is like 6'2", which is actually a little oversized for a corner. That might actually be a problem for the draft. Like I said, a little too big of a position. He gets a little bit grabby, which leads to flags, and he takes tons of gambles on interceptions. And I think of Trayvon Diggs, and that's my comparison for him. Trayvon Diggs. It's just the exact same. Long wingspan, tall, but like takes these gambles on these picks when sometimes you don't need to go for it.
All right, the third corner in this class is Jeanty out of Texas, the Jim Thorpe winner. He's a very versatile and athletic player. He plays in several defensive spots, safety, corner, nickel, star. He's great in the run game. He breaks blocks well. He sets the edge. He wraps up. He doesn't miss tackles. He identifies threats, and he has great leverage on receivers. He doesn't get penalized. He doesn't get beat deep. He has great ball skills, matches up with receiver any size, and plays physical and matches intensity. His cons, he's a smaller defender at 5'11", 5'10". He's hesitant to break sometimes. He doesn't have elite long time speed, and when he's at nickel, he has weak backside corner help. And his comparison is Patrick Surtain. They're both smaller. They both set the edge well, lock down corners. So yeah, Patrick Surtain.
Yep.
The fourth best corner in this class is Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame. He's an athletic player. He has good lateral movement, quick backpedaler, and has good balance and a smooth transition to flip his hips. He has good ball skills, good leverage on his receiver, and he sets the edge well. His cons are he's inconsistent in his transition sometimes, which allows some separation. He doesn't have good closing speed. He can overrun things. He wants to make gambles occasionally, and he makes lots of gambles in zone coverage. His comparison is Kendall Fuller. All right, done with the cornerbacks, now on to the safeties. The best safety in this class is Malachi Starks. He's a versatile athlete. He's very physical. He's a strong run defender. He gets downhill quickly. He closes run gaps well. He has a good use of hands to get off of blocks. He looks to make TFLs. He has good ball skills, and he has good leverage on receivers and has great zone awareness. His cons are he struggles on shift zone defenses where he's at safety and has to shift down to one side of the field to cover. He struggles on his transition from backpedaling to running. He needs to work on his hip rotations. And that also comes from him struggling in man defense versus faster receivers. His player comparison is Jesse Bates.
Yep. And then safety number 2, we're going to Notre Dame, Xavier Watts. Power hitter who's everywhere to make tackles. Aggressive to make a play. We seen that game against Indiana where Notre Dame blew them out. He was everywhere, man. He blew me with some like the pass deflections, some of the hits he made. Whew. That aggressive play makes him sometimes miss tackles, and he needs to work better, man. Comparison, it's going to be Donovan Wilson. No one was really expecting that, but they're pretty similar. They just need to work in man. They need to work in that coverage game, but they rely heavily on their hitting ability, and that's exactly what Donovan Wilson's play style is. Safety number 3, Penn State, Kevin Winston Jr. He's pretty similar, exactly the same as Xavier Watts. Aggressive tackler who's missed less than 2% of his tackles and a big safety. That is crazy. If the Cowboys need to get a run stopper, there's your guy. He doesn't miss any tackles. Except, he can fill that role of Kalen Carson, who had trouble against Derrick Henry, and I know he can tackle him as a huge safety. Some of his tackles were very high, which could lead to missed tackles in the NFL. Playing too high could be a problem for him. It's not that hard to break some of those tackles, but he got lucky with some of them. But you never know in the NFL. Runningbacks are better. They could break off those tackles. This comparison for me is like a Brian Branch, a pretty big safety who is great in the tackle game, and he can also play some pretty good coverage.
Yeah, so the fourth safety in this class, Andrew Makuba out of Texas, the Clemson transfer. Very physical and versatile athlete. He has very good ball skills. He meets the ball. He attacks the ball. He has very good leverage on receiver. He breaks up passes and gets heavy interceptions because of his ball skills. He reads the QB's eyes well. He's good at getting downhill, closing one gaps, stealing the edge when he comes down. His cons are he is an undersized safety. He's built more like a cornerback. He dives at the legs sometimes, leading to broken tackles, dives too low. In the open field, he occasionally makes reckless hits in college where he leads with his head down. His comparison is a smaller Brian Branch, hard-hitting safety, good ball skills, hits hard, gets some interceptions. So yeah, just a smaller Brian Branch. So
Yeah,
yeah.
he's my guy. I like that guy. So yeah, that's gonna be the video today. I think we're good on the positions, and I just hope the Cowboys look heavily into these positions as to address the needs of this team, which are a lot of needs.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you gained some insight on some of these players.
Yep.
Go down and hit that subscribe button. And yeah.
Golden Gaming, Golden Gaming and King are Cowboys. So yeah, thank you.